Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are wrestling with something I think is, well, one of the most fundamental and, frankly, one of the toughest human struggles. Self-mastery. Specifically, mastering that tiny little moment between a stimulus and your response. You know, when your words and your temper are just about to completely derail you.
We have all been there.
Absolutely. That instant of just burning regret after you've snapped or said something a little too cutting, or, you let a tiny frustration just completely hijack a much bigger goal.
And that internal wrestling match is exactly what our source material is focused on today.
Right.
Our mission is to really dig into some ancient wisdom centered on effective communication and emotional restraint.
Right.
We're not just looking for, simple behavioral tips. We're looking for principles that can move us from just reacting to actively choosing how we engage.
Yeah.
Especially in those high conflict or, high stakes conversations.
So what does it really mean to be, well-informed and effective when you can feel that heat rising?
Well, let's start with the core concept, the guiding rule for this whole deep dive.
Okay, let's unpack it. It's a line that's often quoted, but I feel like it's rarely truly internalized.
It is. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry.
And the reasoning the text gives for this is, well, it's immediate and it's absolutely critical.
It is. It's not just some, abstract moral instruction. It's a very pragmatic observation. Human anger, especially that reactive instant kind of anger, it just doesn't achieve the long-term integrity or the purpose we're aiming for.
So it's counterproductive.
Totally. Your rashness basically guarantees failure, whether it's in your career or your relationships.
And I find the source material's connection to our physical reality here so compelling. This 2-to-1 rule.
Oh yeah, this is great.
You have 2 ears and only 1 mouth. It's this concrete, inescapable, physiological thing suggesting that by design, listening should just inherently outweigh speaking.
It's a physical nudge, isn't it? It points toward that old wisdom that silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's often where you find the gold. I mean, if we're literally built to absorb information at twice the rate we put it out, why do we constantly default to the reverse?
Talking over people, interrupting our own thoughts.
Exactly. And that internal conflict, that's where the real battle for self-control begins.
So let's delve into that emotional core, specifically the word temper. We almost always use it in a negative way, right? He lost his temper.
Right.
But the source points out this fascinating duality in the word itself.
It's a vital distinction.
Yeah.
So the word temper has 2 really significant meanings here. The first one is, of course, mood or disposition. And this is captured perfectly in a quote from the material.
What's that?
Temper is a very precious thing. Losing it is a shameful thing.
Yeah.
It totally reframes an outburst, not just as a momentary mistake, but as a catastrophic loss of something valuable.
That makes the regret feel sharper. It's not just that I yelled, it's that I completely squandered my internal equilibrium.
Exactly. But then there's the second meaning of temper. This one relates to metal or resilience. Think about the strength and integrity of properly forged steel.
The temper of
The temper of the steel, its strength, its functional capability. And this distinction helps us separate necessary proactive indignation from, destructive selfish rage.
So is the source implying that if we never get angry, even at, say, genuine injustice in an organization or some ethical breach, that we actually lack that internal metal?
Absolutely. The wisdom here is that not reacting to cruelty or misconduct suggests a lack of moral power to fight evil. That's necessary indignation. The real question is, where do we draw that line? How do we stop that necessary fire from just dissolving into a selfish, unproductive rage?
And that's where the sources really dig in.
Yes, they spend most of their time on that distinction. Proverbs warns us that he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Our quick reaction almost always steamrolls the patience and the understanding we desperately need if we want to grow.
And this is where the insights start to really apply to high-stakes environments, because the most damaging target for that misdirected anger isn't just a colleague or a boss. The material warns that the most damaging target is actually the truth itself.
This is maybe the biggest nugget of insight in the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're calling it the mirror analogy. The source warns us not to get angry at truth or critique or, fundamental principles just because they reveal our own flaws.
It's the ultimate form of denial, isn't it? Cognitive dissonance just playing out in real time.
It is. Being angry at the word of truth because it exposes a flaw, it's like breaking a mirror just because you don't like the image it's showing you. The mirror isn't the problem.
The image is.
The image is. And you achieve absolutely nothing constructive by destroying the messenger of truth. Think about this in a corporate setting.
Oh, yeah.
The team that deliberately hides or dismisses the terrible Q3 numbers just because they don't want to confront the reality of their failure. They're breaking the mirror instead of fixing the performance.
And when we look at the real-world consequences, the source specifically cites disputes in organizational settings, and the root cause is almost always being too quick to anger or speaking carelessly.
The problem child here is always the tongue. I mean, the source just hammers home how difficult the mouth is to control. It's a truly double-edged tool. We can use it for communication, for building morale, for gratitude.
Or the opposite.
Or, conversely, the tongue can be used to say extremely malicious words, to curse people, to cause others to stumble. Controlling our words is fundamentally controlling our character, especially when we're under pressure.
Since that's often easier said than done, let's turn to the two specific anecdotes in the source material. They really drive home the high costs of a quick temper. These are powerful case studies in real-world loss of control.
Okay, let's start with case study 1. The career-limited professional. This was an older gentleman who came to faith later in life. He was generally a competent guy. But this problem, it started and it persisted through his whole career. Military, corporate, you name it.
So what was the specific failure? What kept him stagnating?
He was constantly undermining his own professional trajectory because he just couldn't control his emotions in these crucial moments. He'd see his peers getting promoted, taking on leadership roles, and he was just, well, stuck.
And he probably thought he was just being honest.
He did. He believed he was practicing candid speech or, speaking up for justice. But the truth was, he chose the absolute wrong settings and way too aggressive language.
Can you give us an example? What did that actually look like?
So, the source uses this really vivid imagery. He would open fire on superiors. So, picture this. He disagrees with the vice president's new strategy. Instead of setting up a private meeting, using objective language, he would publicly snap at the VP during the Q&A of a huge all-hands meeting.
Oh, that's career suicide.
Right. The VP might have even been wrong, but the professional's outburst guaranteed that he lost all credibility, all trust. He sabotaged his own reputation again and again and again.
Wow. To lose decades of career trajectory just because you couldn't master 1 minute of emotion, that's a profound cost. And the source says this pattern followed him even into retirement.
That's the tragic end result of exulting folly. Now, case study 2 is a little different, but it's equally cautionary. It's more relational and psychological. This is the self-righteous elder.
Okay, tell us about him.
This was a man who was generally known for being polite, very respected in his community. But at some point, he developed this sudden, very strong emotional conviction. He believed he needed to express great zeal for the integrity of his institution.
And I'm guessing the zeal didn't manifest as constructive criticism?
Not at all. It led him to publicly accuse pastors and fellow elders, his own leadership peers, of being arrogant or proud. His belief was that he was the only one acting with superior moral clarity.
So what was the feedback he got from his colleagues? How did they handle it?
The council was very pragmatic, very relational. They told him to treat colleagues with genuine love and humility. Don't immediately view others as weaker or look down on them. Instead, practice mutual humility. Try to understand where they're coming from.
And he refused the counsel.
Completely. He insisted that his outburst was righteous anger and that he was entirely correct in his assessment of their character flaws.
And the outcome, this is where that trap of self-righteousness really springs sure.
The outcome was total isolation. He chose to leave the organization rather than even acknowledge a potential error in his approach. By refusing any input and just rigidly sticking to his belief in his own infallible righteousness, he became, and this is a quote, bound in his own circle.
Wow, trapped in his own perspective.
Exactly. Unable to be corrected or to grow, which is the ultimate failure of relational integrity. He literally preferred being right to being connected.
That's a really powerful transition because if anger and this stubborn insistence, if they aren't the solution, what better methods are there for dealing with difficult situations? We need to pivot from failure to some practical solutions.
The source makes a profound statement about the root of most human outbursts. It argues that our rage is often driven primarily by personal desire.
Meaning ego.
Meaning ego, a lust for control, or just the simple frustration of not getting our way. It's not about genuine selfless justice. We get angry because our will was thwarted, not because true righteousness failed.
So even when correction is necessary, say from a manager to a subordinate, you can't just vent your personal frustration and call it leadership.
Precisely. Even necessary correction requires deep preparation, a lot of thought, and very wisely chosen language. The goal has to be for the recipient to understand their error and be led toward a better path repentance in the source's language, not just for the speaker to blow off steam.
And if someone does speak inappropriately, which, let's be honest, is inevitable, the path of wisdom is to seek understanding and forgiveness. What does that wise language actually sound like?
Well, it requires acknowledging specific harm, not minimizing it. You know how people apologize by saying, "I'm sorry if I offended you"?
Right, the non-apology apology.
Exactly. The source implies we have to go deeper. For instance, "I regret that my quick temper made you feel dismissed and unheard during that meeting." It's an admission of fault that focuses on the other person's experience, not just trying to justify yourself.
And for the ultimate example of patience under maximum pressure, the source points to Jesus before Pilate. Now, that model of submission is powerful, but in, say, a high-stakes negotiation or a board meeting, isn't silence sometimes interpreted as weakness or even guilt?
That's a vital distinction to make. The source isn't advocating for, silent passivity. It's advocating for strategic silence. A silence that's focused on the ultimate mission, not on self-defense. Jesus chose silence because his larger mission required submission to that legal process. For us, strategic silence means pausing the self-defensive argument to maintain focus on the long-term goal. It's a calculated, patient choice. It's not a surrender.
So what does this all mean when we wrap up this deep dive for the listener? What's the ultimate takeaway for professional and personal growth here?
I think it means we have to be relentlessly self-reflective. We have to be highly demanding of our own conduct. The capacity for self-control, especially with our temper, is presented in the source as arguably the most difficult human weakness to manage.
It's a constant effort.
It's a constant intentional effort guided by wisdom. It's not something you master once and then you're done.
And applying this to the professional sphere, I mean, whether you're dealing with a volatile supervisor or difficult colleagues or trying to manage your own team, this stuff completely defines the culture of a workplace.
Absolutely. The material concludes with this prescribed winning attitude for relationship management. It says, we must have higher demands on yourself. So, greater humility, stricter self-control, immediate accountability for your own mistakes, while at the same time maintaining a broad, forgiving heart toward others.
So high standards for yourself and grace for others.
That's the combination. Demanding integrity from yourself while offering grace to others. That is the key to creating a warm, safe, and ultimately a really productive atmosphere.
Fantastic. That brings us right back full circle to the mission. Being well-informed isn't just about knowing the facts, it's about mastering the delivery. So as you go about your day, and maybe especially your next high-stakes conversation, here is a final provocative thought from the source for you to mull over. Think back to the last time you were truly angry or you lashed out. If you had strictly adhered to that quick-to-listen, slow-to-anger principle, the 2-to-1 rule, how might that situation have played out differently? And what career or relational costs might you have avoided? Something to think about until next time on The Deep Dive.